I have the chat open.
Hello, and welcome to the show whose host chose mostly to ghost those friendly and moist dudes. It's David and Jake.
Ants, 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 ants.
No, today you're Jake 6 feet of custard a cappella.
6 feet of custard. That's a lot of custard.
It's a lot of. Well, I mean, it might not be a lot of custard. It might be 6 feet of, like, a penny, you know?
Hello, people in chat.
Hello, Sargareth. Hello, Aggro.
Are you shaming our lurkers right now?
No, Aggro spoke and Sargareth spoke.
What?
Aggro spoke earlier.
Oh, okay, hold on. I gotta rearrange my whole setup now. I didn't realize that the chat would start at the top and then go all the way down before it started to scroll up. You know?
No, but I'm gonna
No?
nod and pretend I do.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Sargareth. Hello, 9. Excuse me. Hello, 9.
Hello, yes.
Sargareth.
How's everyone doing? Jake, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
I'm tired, but you know, it is what it is.
Hey, I've got a 60-month-old baby here that if you ever wanted to experience true exhaustion, I will pack him into a box and mail him to you.
Thank you, Sargareth, for complimenting my shirt. It doesn't say cyberpunk, it says giant bomb, but in the cyberpunk font.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing an hoodie currently. That's a step up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the show. This is the show where we talk about video games, but specifically not Star Citizen. Now, before about 2 months ago, it was mostly due to the fact that we have another show on the weekend about strictly Star Citizen. But now I work there, so now I really can't talk about Star Citizen.
I have already told Jake that he has to work his way up the corporate ladder to the point that he can come on the show and talk with us about Star Citizen in an official capacity.
Someday. Someday I'll be able to do that.
I've given them the task.
So it's funny because I'm at the point where I feel like I know a lot more than I did, but I don't know enough to know what I can't say. You know?
And it's in those situations where you say nothing.
Yeah. But that's the problem. I don't know what that is. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But anyway, here we are. We're talking about video games. There's lots to talk about this week because we missed last week. But it kind of worked out because there's fewer of us this time. So we won't ramble on about the games we've been playing for 90% of the show.
Yep. Speaking of,
so
hey Jake, do you want to start segment 0? What you playing?
Yeah. So last time I had just started this game, but I have since finished it. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. It is called 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. It is exclusive to the PlayStation 4. Although if you have a PS5, obviously it'll work just fine. It is a JRPG from Vanillaware, published by Atlas. And Atlas, you know, is very famous for the Persona series. But Vanillaware is a studio that was born out of like a lot of old school Final Fantasy developers, like veteran Square Enix people in Japan. They decided to leave Square Enix and form their own studios. They're responsible for games like The Last Story on the Wii. There's a few more, but that was the one I played and really liked. That kind of got me into their games. It's a weird one. It's like a B-level budget, but like the writing's really good. It had some really cool ideas. Definitely check that one out. It's very hard to find, fair warning. So they didn't print too many of them. But 13 Sentinels is their latest game. So it is a game in 3 parts. The first part is a fully voice acted in your choice of English or Japanese, kind of like a motion comic, I guess, right. but with branching paths. So and there's 13 different storylines, 13 Sentinels, and each one of them has like small subsections, but the whole point of it is you play through it, you learn information, and then you go back, you play it again with that new information retained. And it hit me as to why. Okay, it all ties into the story, which is what's incredible. Every mechanic, everything about the game all ties into the story of the game. Like, if something seems like video gamey in any way in the game, it's on purpose. It's so good. And essentially what they do is you play through each one of these stories and you retain the information, so the next time you play that part of the story, you can actually make different choices and learn new information. And you're slowly piecing this very disparate story together until it all comes to a head at the end. It pulls it off brilliantly. I gotta say, I didn't think it could do it, but they did it. The second part of the game is a top-down, turn-based tactical mech game. But there's no, like, you can't. It's like you're looking at like a command and control center, rather than actually seeing the mechs fight. But it's somehow it's still extremely flashy. I don't know how. I don't know if that makes sense.
It doesn't.
Look up some gameplay and you'll see what I mean. You're like eliminating hordes of monsters, just like in huge, like you just drop missiles like, and just everything explodes. It's great. And the third part of the game is basically, you know, like fan wikis that people make.
Yeah.
It has one inside it
that you make.
But you don't like type the articles. Like it's like you're unlocking the articles. So like if there's any part of the story that is confusing to you, you're actually piecing it together in chronological order. So you can actually go and see the layout of events, like
everything that's happened
in chronological order, and you can see what gaps you haven't filled in yet.
All right.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's those 3 pieces of the game, and it all comes together in the end. And maybe one of the best sci-fi stories I've ever experienced. Like, I will remember this thing for a long time. So highly recommend that game. Only on PS4 though. So and here's the thing. And I say this a lot with console exclusives, but this one especially, it's not going to come to PC or any other platform. Historically, over the like 10, 15 years this developer has been around, they make their game for a single console, and that is it. Whatever that console might be.
That said, some Atlas stuff has started coming to PC, which is great. Because we need more of it.
But not Vanillaware.
No.
Because they have a very limited budget and a small staff, and they want to keep it that way.
I played?
I don't know.
Grim Grimoire and Odin Sphere.
Ah, yeah. I forgot about that game. That's a great game.
It's phenomenal. The art on that was just...
Yeah, man. Vanillaware, dude. They make cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the art for this game is unbelievable. It's like it's all like colored pencil, but they really do time of day really well in this game. Which is important because it kind of sets the tone for whatever scene you're in. but it's awesome. Like, it's a little bit Terminator. It's a little bit like, think of all like the best sci-fi time travel-y type movies and properties. It's cool.
also played Muramasa, actually.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah. They've got some good games.
Yeah, that's what
like they do.
They're really good. So yeah, definitely check that one out. If you have a relatively recent Sony console of some kind. The other game I've been playing is available to everyone on everywhere, especially if you're on PC or Xbox. If you have Game Pass, which is Code Vein. Code Vein is Dark Souls for the weeaboos. Is the simplest way I can explain that game. It has maybe the best character creator I've ever seen in my life. Ever. It's extremely good.
Have you played Nioh 2?
Yes, it's better.
No.
It's better. There's too many options. But
it's simplified. It's really simplified. You can make a really good looking character really easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this game, what's funny is like the thing I wish it had more than anything is more hairstyles. But it's a weird thing to ask because I think it has more hairstyles than most games do.
Well, it's not just hairstyles, right? Because it's like the hairstyles, but you've got like 4 different parts of the hair that you can extend.
Everything.
It's really
crazy.
Detailed. Yeah, really detailed.
There's like you can change everything from like your clothes to like you can give yourself heterochromia. There's like 17 different eye types.
Yeah.
It's wild. But the game itself is really cool because it's kind of a really fun twist on the Dark Souls formula. It's got all the stuff that makes Dark Souls, right? It's got the bonfires, it's got the souls, it's got the very obscure and obtuse story. It's also extremely difficult, and the level design is also very good and kind of folds into itself, like a Dark Souls game does. But the thing that kind of makes it stand apart, and I think is the most innovative thing about it, is most Dark Souls type games, you either are just a character, right? Like Sekiro, where you can kind of tweak things a little bit about your character. Or you pick a class, like in Dark Souls, where it kind of determines how you play the game from then on. Code Vein, you can just switch your class anytime. And in fact, you find more classes as the game progresses. And what's really cool is it ties into the story. So how... basically all the characters of this world, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but all the characters in this world have lost their memories to a great extent or to a lesser extent. And they are contained in these crystals. And you are the only one that can actually touch these crystals without them killing you. And it basically imprints the memories of these people onto you. And that's how you gain their abilities, but they're represented as a class. But it's cool because at the same time, you also learn more about the world while you're unlocking a new class, because it kind of shows like a vignette of things that happen to this person. It's really cool. And then you get to learn abilities from each class and then keep them and use them with any class as long as you meet the stat requirement. It's great. Like, it's one of the coolest twists on the Dark Souls formula that I've seen. So I'm having a good time. I'm
nice.
Like 4 hours in, give or take.
I installed it off Game Pass. I launched it. I closed it. I went to Google. I Googled Code Vein Ultra. Shut up, Google.
This is from YouTube.
I searched Code Vein ultra wide, and then I installed the game because there's no ultra wide support.
Nope.
But I apparently there's a patch, like an unofficial mod that you can use to give it ultra wide, which I might check it out at some point. But I guess my problem with that is I've been playing Nioh 2 a lot, which I think, as far as I can tell, is a much better Dark Souls clone than Code Vein anyway.
Way better. I just played Nioh 2 when it came out on PlayStation.
Yeah,
so
and I haven't, so I'm playing it now. Yeah. Phenomenal game. I love it. Nioh 2 is... I think I actually much prefer the Nioh formula over the Dark Souls formula. I really like the... Dark Souls is phenomenal. It is absolutely a masterclass in level design. Of the entire world is this giant like spindle, and everything connects to itself somehow, right? And it's
like an Escher painting.
Yeah, it is. And it's huge and absolutely insane, and I love it. The thing I like about Nioh 2, though, is it's the same, but it's in smaller, more contained pieces. Like, you can go into Nioh 2 and be like, I've got 45 minutes, I'm going to beat 2 missions. And they're contained missions, right? The mission has a start, you play through it, it has an end. And then you can move on to the next mission that's in a new area, has a start and end. But even in those areas, there's still a little bit of that Escher.
Yeah.
But it's more contained, and I find myself not... Dark Souls sometimes overwhelms me in the size of it. And, like, love them.
What's cool about Code Vein is they give you like glow sticks that you can drop.
Oh, nice.
And it'd be like, hey, you've been here.
Yeah.
Just don't go this way. And also on the map, it has like the footprint system that Breath of the Wild does. After the DLC came out.
Yep.
So that's nice at least.
I mean, Nioh 2, the levels tend to be small enough that you don't need it.
Yeah, but, you don't need it.
Love the game.
Code Vein split the difference, where they have big, crazy levels like Dark Souls, but they give you some tools to make it more manageable. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been playing a lot of Nioh 2.
I think Bloodborne to this day is my favorite Souls game.
I never played it. I needed to. I hope it hits PC or something at some point. But
I don't think it ever will, but not because of Sony. I don't think it'll be because of Sony. I think it'll be because of FromSoft, because they have a tendency after they release their games to not touch them.
Yeah.
After that, so
we'll see.
Like, I don't think Bloodborne will get a PS5 update, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that will happen either.
Next on my list, Cass and I have been playing. She's actually playing it right now. A lot of Fallout 76 again, because we like.
You can't be stopped.
It is the best game at what it does. There is not a single video game on the market that has more fun options for building a house. It like they took however many years of Fallout history, and they've got just here's thousands of items that you can put in your house, and like it's just there's so much to it. It's a pretty broken game even still. It's broken, but it's fun.
I've just realized that I don't like survival games that much. It takes a lot for me to enjoy one.
We're finding ourselves really, really enjoying the the cooperative building aspects of some survival games.
Yeah.
But and so we've been playing Fallout again, but we also both picked up Valheim, which is another survival game, and it is doing absolute numbers right now. Oh, and yeah. I can 100% see why. It takes a lot of the aspects of survival that I don't like. Hunger, thirst, and it simplifies the stuff that isn't fun gameplay, and it's just like, here's the fun gameplay, have fun.
Yeah.
Right? Like in Fallout, you've got a hunger meter, and when your hunger meter gets to 0, you start taking damage. Right? And then you have to eat, and you have to eat every couple of minutes, and your hunger meter is this big, and eating a Salisbury steak fills this much of your hunger. Like, it takes 18 Salisbury steaks to fill up your... Like, it's a bit ridiculous. Valheim... That's a lot of steak. It's a lot of steak. Valheim is like, okay, you've got 25 health. That is your base health. If you eat a steak, your health will go up to 100. And then as you are no longer hungry, it'll go back down and your max is 25. But you eat, and it's just, the eating is just this buff to your health. Absolutely essential, but it's not really penalizing you for not doing it. If you're like, oh, I'm just building in my house for 8 hours, you don't need to go. Love it. I mean, I don't actually think there's anyone that likes video games that hasn't purchased Valheim at this point. But I very highly recommend Valheim if you have any interest in survival games.
And also, I don't.
Also, really, really fun. Got cast into it, and she chopped down her first tree. Very first.
David, that's embarrassing.
Listen, is she worried about being embarrassed? Because David has been embarrassed countless times on this show, and I relish in embarrassing David, to be honest with you.
What?
Did he guess what happened?
I wish.
Did it fall on her?
Yeah,
because that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. She chopped it down. It fell right on her, and she sort of yelled.
That's just
and
funny.
I laughed.
That's just RNGesus just coming at you, dude.
Yeah, I love it. Great. So I've been playing a bunch of Valheim. Really, really, really highly recommend that.
There have been two survival games that I enjoyed. Number 1, Minecraft. Minecraft is a survival game on survival mode. Number 2 is The Forest.
Yep.
Because the story was very compelling. So, yeah.
I will say that Valheim possibly has the most complete early access launch I've seen in a long while. It's
You're out of focus, David.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I gotta. I'm really impressed with. I can't even change it because it's running here. Let me just do this. Did that fix it? Yeah, it looked like
yes, it did.
Okay, cool. I'm really impressed that they launched a functional and honestly relatively complete game in early access. It doesn't have any bugs. It's just a good game. So the last thing I've been playing is I installed it last night. Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah. Zodiac Age, the
it's on
version?
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah. What a great game.
Phenomenal
that game is so good.
It's the bridge between the old style like Final Fantasy X, the turn-based Final Fantasies, and the more action-oriented 13 and 15.
Well, 13 less so, because 13 was just 7's battle system, really.
It was, but it also focused a lot more, like it let you move around, which yeah.
But it was still ATB at the end of the day.
I mean, technically, so is 12, right?
Yeah, but 12 is actually most like 11.
I don't even remember 11. God,
man, 11 was cool.
My favorite thing about 12, though, about the battle system in 12, was that you get to essentially code your responses. Right? So you can play it the way you play most Final Fantasies, of like pause the game, select your attack, click attack, do it. Select potion, use your potion. Or as you progress in the game, you get these like if then else statements that like if health is less than 30%,
program your team,
then cast cure. If if this character is targeting this enemy, then everyone else target this. Like, it's just, I love that.
Cool.
Honestly, one of the coolest battle systems.
Plus, it's
I think.
Ivalice.
Yes.
Ivalice is cool.
Ivalice is cool.
I would say Ivalice is one of the most realized Final Fantasy worlds that exists. I mean, the other one would be Midgar. But yeah, I would say like the one that feels the most cohesive. Xanarkin's almost that level, but it still felt a little ethereal. It's from 10.
I didn't like 10. It's one of my least favorite Final Fantasies.
I like 10, but it gets knocked from a 10 out of 10 game to an 8 out of 10 game for the worst main character of all time.
Yeah.
Who thought having Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank as your Final Fantasy protagonist was a good idea?
The voice acting also killed me. Anyway.
Yeah, it's Ratchet.
So bad. All of it, though. Not just him.
He's good at Ratchet. He's not good at being Tidus. So.
All right. We've made it to the accurately named segment 2. One game you want. Jake, what game do you want?
I want Horizon Forbidden West very badly because I recently have replayed Zero Dawn on PC, and I want that game so badly. I love Horizon. That game was such a complete package for me, that it, like, the combat is just like sublime. Like it gives me it's a cross between Monster Hunter and Tomb Raider. Like it's right in the middle.
There are not enough games that feature you shooting dinosaurs.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
Dinosaur shooting.
And there are really not enough games that feature you shooting giant robot dinosaurs.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Also, I also own the Horizon board game, which is also very good, and I highly recommend it. It's expensive, but because the minis are very high quality. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, hopefully we'll there turns out, and we'll probably talk about this in the news, although there's no news yet, but there's a state of play on Thursday. So we might get Horizon news. We might get God of War news.
Probably not. There might be news, but God of War is not hitting this year.
God of War and Horizon both said they were coming in 2021. So
we'll see.
I doubt both of them will make it, but odds are we will hear about one of them in this. Yeah.
Which, that'll be good. Yep. PS5 is on my list of things to get when I got money.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
PS5 is great. Also, like, they put, like, all the greatest hits from PS4 for free if you have PlayStation Plus.
That's good.
It's like 20, 30 extremely high quality games. Like everything that you can think of except for last year's AAA games. Like
which will probably
get part 2.
Which will probably make it
they'll
there
be put on
eventually,
there in like a year, maybe 2 years time.
Yeah.
So, it's literally every game that I can think of that I would recommend to somebody on PlayStation, except for The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. Everything else is on there.
The game that I want is Outriders.
The demo thing's about to start, isn't it?
Yep. When
is that tomorrow?
Is it? I thought it was like this weekend.
It is this week. Here.
I was just reading about it and I already forgot.
Spot. There's a live stream. What's today?
Servers go live tomorrow. 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
No, the 26th. So Friday.
No, the description on this video says the 25th.
Possibly. Oh, sorry, Sydney, February 26th. Yeah, it's 25th for us. Noon Eastern. It's. I mean,
the live stream page.
It looks like a. There's a couple things that interest me. One, it's a looter shooter, and I love me some looter shooters. Two, the developer has some pedigree. People Can Fly.
Yeah.
They've done some good stuff.
They made Bulletstorm,
which I loved. That was just
that game.
A fun as hell game.
I love that game.
3, and this to me really mattered, was they're actually not doing the standard looter shooter thing of games as a service. This is it. There's no...
Oh, interesting.
Like, the game is the game.
Are they going to release, like, content expansions?
They might release content expansions based on how it's received, but it is not a live service game. There's nothing to buy.
Interesting.
As I understand it, like, there aren't loot packs. This is the game. It's more Diablo than Destiny.
Yeah.
Which, I like that. Like, just let me give you my money and you give me the game, you know? Anyway, there's a demo coming this week. It's not out until April, but they've said that the demo is 7 levels. You can play all of the classes. You can try all the classes and up to level 7 on each of them. A bunch of different difficulty levels. And all progress from the demo carries over to the main game.
Yeah.
And it's not like a time-limited demo. It's just you've got this slice of the game. Play it. Try everything. Which also makes me feel really good because, yeah, I like it when demos do that.
Yeah.
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 I hope it's good. I hope.
Yeah.
All right. Segment 4.
It's news time.
It's time for news, and there's quite a bit of news.
Yeah. It's
2
weeks of news.
It's 2 weeks of news. I want to start with, I think, some really damn important news, actually. More PlayStation games are coming to PC.
Yep. Starting with Days Gone, and they said this spring, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Days Gone is a game that I have no interest in, but there's like a very rabid fan base around that game for some reason. So
I want to try it.
Yeah. It's got Sam Witwer in it.
It's zombies.
Love me some Sam Witwer.
It's the one that they basically used a fluid simulation for their zombies as opposed I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's really
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm really I'm excited though just that more PlayStation games are going to be hitting PC. This is something I've been saying needs to happen for a long time. Put games everywhere. So glad to see it starting.
Well, I don't know what I just did. I think I hit the enter key.
Yeah, it's fine. This one is a rumor. This is a rumor. There's only one thing about this rumor that I really like. There's some rumors coming out about a new Switch, model. The only thing that I want to take from this rumor is the name. The rumored name is the Super Nintendo Switch, not the Switch Pro.
Cool.
I really want it to be called the Super Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Call back to the Super Nintendo. Give us a limited edition.
A rumor for years.
Give us a limited edition Super Nintendo Switch that's the same color with the same button colors as the SNES controller. Man, done.
Yeah.
Done. Sold.
Yeah, because NVIDIA has a new Tegra chip that's out, and literally nobody is using it. So I imagine they would want to do something like that.
Yep.
It's needed, man. Give me a 1080p screen, please.
Well, the rumor says supports up to 4K.
Yeah, well, no. So 4K on the TV.
Yeah, on the TV. Give 1080 on your screen.
Give me a 1080p screen is what I'm saying. They are not going to give you a 4K screen because that battery life will be 5 minutes.
Yeah. There's also no need for a 4K screen at that size.
No.
Honestly,
you couldn't see anything.
No.
It's absurd pixel density. Yeah, so actually tied into the PlayStation games coming to PC, they sort of announced the sequel to PlayStation VR, which is pretty cool. PlayStation VR is the best-selling VR headset of all time.
It's also there's a couple reasons for that. One of them being it is the most comfortable.
Yeah, and it's also dirt cheap.
Really good.
I got mine for $150.
It's actually really good to see this though, that Sony are continuing and not just continuing but doubling down on their support for VR is a really good sign for the health of VR as a whole.
This also means it will be the death of the motion controllers that are at least 10 years old.
Yeah, new motion controllers is good. Those Move controllers are bad. That was the worst part of PSVR was the controllers.
Now, what's even more exciting is they said it's going to use the haptics from the DualSense controller. And let me tell you what, there is no better haptics on Earth than the DualSense controller. That is a perfect gamepad, and when I'm telling you, when you feel like it was even like in Miles Morales, I could feel like the web and it like vibrating as it was coming out of the thing, and then when he lets go, it clicks, and so it's like you can feel like it cut the cable. It was so good. And developers are using it. The new Call of Duty uses it, so it's awesome. And they're gonna put that in VR. Are you kidding? That's gonna be ridiculous. But yeah, they also said it's going to use a single cable and no external unit. The PS5 is powerful enough to handle VR on its own, so that's really, really good to hear.
Yeah, all of this is just a really good. It's really good for VR.
Yep. And yeah, I mean the PSVR was super popular, so they have every reason to make another one. It sold 5 million units. They're still making games for it.
Yeah.
I actually need to catch up on a lot of those games because I have not played a lot of them. So there's a lot that's exclusive to.
There are. Let's be clear, Jake. There are too many video games.
Oh, way too many. Way too many.
There are too many video games.
So every time I finish a game, I'm like, all right, what should I play next? And I have no idea, and I'm paralyzed. It happens all the time. I go like 2 or 3 days where I'm like staring at my library of games, and I just don't know what to do.
I don't even want to say how many games there are on my Steam.
I usually, so I always, what I do to like bully myself is I have 21 games installed right now. And aside from like things that I play like regularly or things that I want available for multiplayer, like Among Us is installed, for example.
I also have 21 games installed. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, weird. But it's the ones where I'm like, you're gonna stare at these until you play them.
Yeah.
And
they are like center in my desktop of these are the games where you will be playing one of them. I don't know which.
Yeah. Well, all right, I'm gonna read my list. You gotta read your list.
Oh god, I don't know if I can. If I minimize Discord, I think this goes away.
Oh, I mean, that's fine. You can hide me for a sec.
Well, I think we both go away. Or do we freeze? What happens?
That's fine. That's fine. Nobody's watching. I just want to know.
Divinity, Rainbow Six, Hell Let Loose, Avengers, Grounded, Left 4 Dead 2, Diablo. Oh, I've got more. Sorry, I've got like 51. Never mind.
Oh my god.
I'm not reading all those.
Too long.
I'm not reading all those.
I'll read my 20 because it's pretty short. All right. So Among Us, Apex Legends, Batman Arkham Knight, which I still have not played, Code Vein, Control, which I plan on playing again, Crosscode because it has a new DLC coming out tomorrow.
Nice.
Cyberpunk, Devil May Cry, the HD collection. I've never played a Devil May Cry game.
How?
And I know.
How?
Listen, Devil May Cry and Kingdom Hearts came out at the same time. I picked the character action that appealed to me, and look where I ended up. So
fair enough.
I have been Norded since 2002, 2003, 2004, 2003, 2003.
Years, man. I don't know how do they work.
I also have the Devil May Cry HD collection, but also DMC because I haven't decided which one I want to start with. I think I want to start with DMC because it's not canon, and then jump into the other games. I think that's what I'm going to do. It's a Ninja Theory game. Ninja Theory is great. Final Fantasy 14, which I keep telling myself I'm going to play. It hasn't happened yet. Hellblade, I'm going to play that again before the new one comes out. This little indie game called Horizon's Gate that looked very intriguing and was recommended by Austin Walker, so I'm going to do that. Kentucky Route Zero.
Yep.
The Last Campfire, which is a Hello Games game, the No Man's Sky peeps. League of Legends, but I don't play League of Legends. I play Teamfight Tactics, which it just happens to be in the League of Legends client.
Right.
Trails in the Sky 2. Ori and Will of the Wisps, which I'm about halfway done. This game called Star Citizen. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No. It's a scam as far as I'm concerned.
Star Wars Squadrons. Star Wars The Old Republic. And World of Warcraft.
Not bad.
Yeah. All right. I was going to say, speaking of World of Warcraft and jump into BlizzCon news, but we'll talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this too much. I want to wait until the inevitable Jason Schreier report comes out about what happened.
Yeah.
Because right now we don't know a lot. So Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been delayed indefinitely by Paradox Interactive. They have also yoinked it from the developer who was working on it. They are no longer going to be the ones finishing that game. We do not know what is going on over there. All we know is they are.
They're having
they
some
haven't
trouble.
even decided who's going to make the game yet.
Yeah.
So.
Not a good
don't
sign.
expect Bloodlines for a good long time. It's just gonna be Bloodlines 2 is gonna be one of those mythical games like Half-Life 3 and a lot of games that came out
Duke
already.
Nukem Forever.
Yeah, like Kingdom Hearts 3 and the Final Fantasy 7 remake and The Last Guardian
Yes,
and
God.
games like that were delayed millions of times. And then they finally came out, and
Speaking
most of
of,
those were good. So
it sort of sounds like the Dying Light 2 is having sort of the same issues. There's some reporting coming out that, I mean, it's been delayed indefinitely as well, but
I don't know what's going on over there. That's like a black hole of my video game knowledge is what's happening with those studios. But oh well.
I'm really disappointed because I really want Dying Light 2. It looked phenomenal when we saw it, but
me too.
It's not sounding great, and it's also not sounding great for the Harry Potter game.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, neither do I. I saw that just before we went. I wasn't sure to put it on or not. It just makes me sad.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Onto fantastic news. Holy shit.
BlizzConline happened last week. And it was pretty good. Did they drag the opening ceremony. They did not have things to show. And it was very, very obvious. COVID definitely hit Blizzard pretty hard.
Yeah. But they showed, in my opinion, the most important thing they could possibly show. Diablo 2.
Yeah.
It
I
looks
hope
real
it's good.
It looks good.
I am cautiously optimistic. It looks very good. But and see, now here's the thing is everybody remembers the track record that they recently have had with Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
What they apparently forgot is they did 2 remasters before that, which were both fantastic.
Yep.
The first one was Diablo 1, which is very good. And the second one is Brood War.
Yep.
It's the original StarCraft. And 2 things. One, that game, they somehow managed to keep the entire aesthetic the same while also making it look modern. Also, it is compatible with the original client.
That's really good.
So if you're playing on OG Brood War still,
you can play
with people who have the remaster.
That's outstanding.
Amazing.
Everything I've seen points me to, because keep in mind Blizzard shuttered the team that did the disastrous Warcraft 3 remake.
Yeah.
And they handed this to they absorbed and then handed this to the team that did the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake.
I mean, they didn't. Vicarious Visions is a very tenured game developer, but yeah.
but they also did a really, really good. Recently, did a really good remaster, and based on footage, like it looks like they're trying to do a frame for frame remake of Diablo 2. The lighting's the same. They've updated it to 3D, but you can also play it in 2D mode. It looks really good.
It's got the Halo Master Chief toggle button, basically.
Yeah. They've apparently, I was reading an article that I thought was kind of funny. They've apparently been going through all of basically any records that were kept from the creation of Diablo 2 up to and including not concept art, but reference pictures.
Yeah.
And there
was a second expansion that they never finished.
Yeah.
Also,
but one of the characters, one of the NPCs in Throne of Destruction, the reference picture for him was Marky Mark.
Of course.
That's their reference picture for
yeah.
But
of course.
Like, they're going through everything. I'm really hopeful. I really want it to be good because yeah, it's Diablo. Speaking of Diablo, they showed off a new class for Diablo 4 as well.
Yeah, with the excellent new cinematic.
Yeah.
Not quite as disturbing as their last one, but pretty close.
Close. Honestly, it would have been more disturbing if they hadn't all kept talking about it as disturbing. It was like, yeah, I get it, but stop telling me about the sound. I like.
I'm scarred for life when the man put the ears in there.
No.
I'm gonna talk about World of Warcraft right now, and you're gonna like it. Okay, so 9.1 is coming. Anduin is evil now because he's being possessed. It kind of unfurls the kind of the origins of the Lich King a little bit, which is pretty cool. But there's new raid. They're making big improvements to the roguelike mode, which, by the way, if you didn't know, there's an entire roguelike inside World of Warcraft now called Torghast, and it's very good. Like, I could just play that a lot, and that would be okay. There's also a mega dungeon, which kind of reminds me of Karazhan from Burning Crusade. Yeah, lots of good quality of life improvements. Like they're bringing flying to Shadowlands, but unlike previous expansions, you don't need to grind reputation forever to get it. You just have to finish the story quests, which you're going to do anyway because of course. So that's nice. Speaking of Burning Crusade, though, World of Warcraft Classic is moving to Burning Crusade. So now here's the cool thing, and this is something I did not expect out of Blizzard. They are maintaining both vanilla and Burning Crusade.
Man, I was just about to ask if we're going to get to a point like 10 years from now when they launch classic
with every single expansion.
No, like are they gonna evolve classic to the point that it hits whatever expansion, and then they're gonna start a new classic. Oh
my god. No, they're gonna maintain it. So
all right.
Okay, listen. All I want for them to do, no worries, Sargareth. I'm glad everything's okay.
Yeah, I hope everything gets better. Don't
Ice, my dude. Ice is your best friend. But yeah.
Yes. It got delayed,
I also
didn't it?
want New Worlds.
It got delayed again.
But yeah, so what they're doing, and I think this is really cool, is your character can make a choice, and it's a permanent choice. You get to decide if you want to stay in vanilla or if you want to move to Burning Crusade. They are also offering paid character cloning.
So you can have one in each?
Yes.
All right.
And have it be the same character.
That's cool.
Yeah. But what's nice is you basically get to decide. Like, are you going to stay playing vanilla now that all the content's out, or do you want more?
Yeah.
I probably won't play it. Much like I didn't play WoW Classic. People like to rag on retail WoW, but people also think that it's been bad since Cataclysm, when there's only been 2 bad expansions. And everything else has been either solid, which is, I would say, Battle for Azeroth, the last one, solid, or as good, if not better, than peak World of Warcraft days, which I would say Legion is that. And maybe this current expansion is phenomenal. but yeah, but that being said, if they come out with Wrath Classic, oh, I'm gonna play that. That was like, it came out right around when I graduated high school, so I had a lot of free time, and I played a lot of Wrath of the Lich King.
See, that for me was Diablo 2.
Yeah,
I played a lot of literally my day. I think it was end of high school actually for me, and then into university. But like, I would get home from school, go downstairs, turn on D2. Andy runs till 1 or 2 a.m. Pass out, wake up, go to school, come back. Andy runs till 1 or 2, like nonstop.
Yeah.
Diablo 2.
I had exalted reputations for every faction back when it was impossible to do that, because I just grinded. Yeah. Now here's the thing. Blizzard, listen to me. I know you're not listening, but listen to me. So you know the concept you had with Heroes of the Storm, where you took all the characters from all the different games and then you made it into a MOBA where it was like, oh, this is the Nexus, it's the multiverse of the Blizzard universes. That's cool. They're all connected through Heroes of the Storm. Listen, you're thinking too small. Make a massively multiplayer online game that is all Blizzard IP.
That would be nuts.
Yes, it would, but it would be really cool.
It would be really cool. It would be.
I
would like to see
concept,
a new IP,
the concept of other planets already exists in World of Warcraft. Like, they go to space, they fly spaceships, they go to different worlds. Like, literally the plot of Warcraft is orcs walk through a portal from another planet and show up on Azeroth and are like, yo, we're here, what you gonna do about it? That's what Warcraft is. So I'm just saying, what if there was more portals?
The thing you always gotta wonder when, people show up out of a portal is, what are they running from?
Yeah. Oh, the answer is Void Lords.
Yes.
That has been established for a long time.
Yeah, that question can be applied to multiple games, though. Okay.
That's it from BlizzCon. I did watch the Overwatch 2 panel. It looks really good. They made a lot of really cool changes to that game, and I'm sad it's not coming this year because I want to play it. So
it's one of those I might pick up because I really like non-competitive shooting
there's
stuff.
Basically like a Left 4 Dead mode in there that's also a roguelike.
Yeah,
I will play the balls out of that.
I am in for that. I don't like competitive much anymore, but you give me something that's non-competitive and I'm all over it.
Yeah.
So moving on to some other news, Valheim, back to Valheim, which beat Dota 2 and CSGO for player count last weekend, which is...
I mean, Dota 2's been hurting for a while, but beating CSGO is an accomplishment and a half, so that's pretty cool.
And they beat PUBG at one point as well.
Although, that being said, a lot of the audience for CSGO bled over into Valorant, so...
Yes.
Which, by the way, I looked into Valorant recently. That thing is healthy. People be playing that game. It is very cool.
It's less that, like, I mean, CSGO is bleeding. They're not doing as great anymore. They've been around for a long time. It's more that, like,
they haven't updated the thing, man.
It's more that Valheim's only been out for a couple of weeks. Like,
it moved 3 million copies
in
crazy
3 weeks. It is. Yeah. Its rise is absolute. It's the biggest. Like, it's doing more than Fall Guys, which was huge. Yep. Valorant is it's a
Fall Guys, man. What a flash in the pan that was. Oh man, everybody was crazy about that game for like a week.
It was a good week.
Yeah, it was a good week. I think everybody needed the feel-good game for a little bit during peak pandemic times.
It's the same thing. Like, Animal Crossing will always have a place in my heart just because of when it came out, you know?
Yep.
So, actually, back on Blizzard for just a quick moment, they also announced a trio of their arcade classics. Lost Vikings.
Which, by the way, they monetized like kind of awesomely. So you know, like the BlizzCon ticket thing that they usually do.
Yeah.
It was totally optional this year, but if you buy it anyway, you get like all the goodies that they typically make for BlizzCon. You know, that comes with the ticket, but you also get this.
Nice.
The arcade collection thing. It's got the 3 OG Blizzard games. Lost Vikings. Yes, it was Sargrath. Rock and Roll Racing, and I don't remember the third one.
I also don't, but it's Rock and Roll Racing I want to talk about very briefly, though, because Twitch being Twitch, don't stream Rock and Roll Racing with the music on, because you'll get banned. Because DMCA's are absolute garbage, and the
Twitch. Hey, Twitch, we're on Twitch right now. Hey, Twitch, listen. You know how Instagram and TikTok and all those got license deals with the music industry, and you can make a Instagram video and just put pretty much whatever song you want onto your Instagram video. Why don't you do that and then make it like you got to be an affiliate if you want to do it?
Well, look, it's not like Twitch is owned by a company that has their own music streaming service and can do that really easily.
Oh, I know. Let's move on. It makes me sad. First Nintendo Direct happened.
We talked a little bit about Project Triangle Strategy.
There was a lot of cool stuff in there. It maybe was not as eventful as people wanted.
They put on the Zelda guy, and he was like,
listen, but he was right up front with it, and I gotta applaud him for that. Okay, he's like, yo, I'm here. Listen, no Breath of the Wild 2. I'm very sorry. Like that was the first words out of his mouth. It's like, hey, listen, I know. Listen, I'm here. I know what you're thinking right now.
I don't think you understand how much I want that game.
I know.
My son's name is a reference to that freaking game. Give me
however,
Zelda.
A couple things that look cool from the announcement. One, Splatoon 3 looks good.
I noted
there's a bow.
People noted something really interesting in Splatoon 3. One, they really should go the way that the trailer opened of like it's a single player as well in the Splatoon world.
They had a single player thing in the last one.
A more expansive one is what people are saying.
I don't see why not.
I really hope they do. The other thing that people noted is the Inklings no longer have gender.
Yes.
Inklings are agender.
Correctamundo.
And that is phenomenal. All props to these Splatoon
Good job,
devs.
Nintendo.
Yep.
For being a very traditionally Japanese company, that was a good thing you did. So, good job.
The logo is even the colors of the trans flag.
Yep. Also, Shiver would be proud. Sorry.
Oh man, that was that.
Moving on. Mario Golf looks great.
Best golf.
It has
game.
speed golf from. Did you ever play? Did you ever play 100-foot robot golf or whatever it's called?
No.
There's a mode in that game where you're just sprinting towards the hole. You don't take turns. Whoever gets there first wins. Speed golf. They're adding this to Mario Golf.
I like it.
I don't like sports games unless it's Mario. I have found out. I love all of the Mario sports games. Mario
Tennis
Kart
is beautiful.
Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Mario Soccer.
They need a Mario Hockey.
They do need a Mario Hockey. I would also play. There's also Mario Baseball.
Yep.
I would play Mario Basketball. It would just be NBA Jam.
Yeah. I mean, NBA Jam is good enough already.
Yeah, but what if it was Mario though?
I mean, almost everything is better when Mario.
Another Mario Doctor. Yeah, the sport of medicine.
competitive doctoring.
Hell yeah.
Who can perform the heart transplant faster? Ooh, nicked an artery, minus 10 points.
Another one that looks good is a game called Project Triangle Strategy. I think that's what it's called.
They did clarify. They did clarify it's a working title.
So was Octopath Traveler, dude, but that's its name now.
Yeah.
So it is from the developers of Octopath Traveler. It appears to be like an homage to Final Fantasy Tactics, which is awesome, and that sounds wonderful to me. I love tactics games like that. So I am excited, and it looks very good. It has excellent use of depth of field. Kind of gives it like a tilt shifted look. It's nice. But we mentioned that they did not talk about Breath of the Wild 2, but what they did talk about is they are porting Skyward Sword to the Switch, which is good news for two reasons. Number one, it's going to expose that game to a new audience. I think people need to give that game a chance. If you get through the obnoxious tutorialization of the first fifth of that game,
it took so long.
Once you get there, it has the best traditional Zelda dungeons of any of the games. Period.
It also has some of the elements of Breath of the Wild.
It does, like stamina. It's the first game to have stamina in it.
Stamina and crafting and
yeah. It's a great game, but the second reason why it's exciting is one of the reasons why people didn't want to put up with that tutorialization is because the controls were terrible. Now, they're not terrible. They just take a long time to get used to, and I understand how people do not have the patience for that. I get it. But thankfully, Nintendo's like, hey, we got you. You don't have to use motion controls if you don't want to. You still can. But you don't have to. And I imagine they did this because it's coming to the Switch, which also means it's coming to the Switch Lite. And you cannot have two-handed motion controls on the Switch Lite.
It's true.
They would force you to buy Joy-Cons, which you shouldn't have to. So overall, a good move. That game is also gorgeous. I'm excited for that. Also, the only game where Link and Zelda have an actually implied romantic relationship. The only one.
It's also the first in the Zelda chronology.
Yes.
It is the first Zelda game chronologically.
Yes.
And then at Ocarina
it's very
of
cool
Time,
because it kind of establishes all that lore, which is really nice. But yeah, Skyward Sword, play that game. It's good. Stubbs the Zombie is coming back. I'm hyped. I'll play Stubbs again.
I am as
that
well.
Game was good.
Stubbs was a good game.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yep, same.
Star Wars Hunters, a game I will play. I have no idea what it is. It's probably going to be mobile trash because it's coming to phones.
Oh, is it coming to phones too?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, phones no longer means mobile trash. Genshin Impact is on phones,
But Zynga's making it.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Baldur's Gate 3 has got a big, thick daddy update coming. It's adding more quests, more stuff, more bug fixing. But on top of all that, they're adding the Druid class to the game.
It's time to shapeshift.
Which is, yeah, it's very exciting.
Very
no
exciting.
dinos, though. I'm very sad about that.
Yeah, but it's. I think they'll do
It's
well.
fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it's okay.
It's fine. Listen, I re-rolled my druid in World of Warcraft because the moose the moose and cow tauren can only turn into bears, moose, raptors, and cats, and the big owl things. But Zandalari druids, all of their shape-shifting forms are dinosaurs, all of them. And I'm like, yep.
Dinosaurs.
That got it. You got to do the dinosaurs,
moose.
man. Now, I'm actually gonna skip this one and talk about this one first.
Sure.
So a couple weeks ago, the Epic Game Store did a presentation. It was lots of like free-to-play game updates. They made it seem way bigger than it was. But maybe they were just kind of advertising the format and being like, hey, if you want to announce something, here's a place to do it. It was fine. It was like 20 minutes long. But they showed off a couple things of note. The first one is a game called Binary Smoke. And it looks very cool. Did you ever play Inside?
Yes.
It looks like Inside, but cyberpunk in genre.
All right.
That it looks awesome. Like I'm super into it. Coming someday. But the other thing of note is, for the first time in history,
Jake,
ever.
you go on about this. I'll be right back because I know you can talk about this for.
I mean, not really. There's not a whole lot here, but go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Kingdom Hearts, the entire franchise. Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, 2, 358 over 2 days, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, 0.8, what am I forgetting? Recoded. The mobile movie game thing. I don't remember what it's called. Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, and Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory are all coming to the PC for the first time ever. They are not cheap. It is actually a little bit surprising how expensive it is. But it is a lot of video games, and like people rag on it. They're like, oh, they're like old games, blah 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 blah, whatever. But the first pack has upwards of like 200 hours of video game. The second one has about 80 to 90 hours of video game. The third one's about the same, and then the other one, the Melody of Memory, is by itself because it just came out. Like it came out in December. But all in all, if you want all of Kingdom Hearts on PC, it'll run you about $230 US.
It's a bit much.
It's a lot, and I understand that it is daunting. So here's my recommendation. People like, oh, it was on PC. How do I get into Kingdom Hearts? Now, here's the thing. If you do not care about story at all, and you just want to play a really good character action game with Disney characters in it, just play 3. That's all you need to play. It is flashy. It is beautiful. It controls extremely well. On critical mode, it is also extremely hard. It's basically Dark Souls, but way more forgiving in terms of resetting your progress. It has unbelievably spectacular boss fights, and yeah, highly recommend that game. Now, that being said, if you do care about the story, you got to play them all. There are no side games. There is no offshoot stories. There's nothing that is not important to the story of Kingdom Hearts. You might think that because there's Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, and then there's all this other stuff.
And let's be honest here, Jake. All that other stuff is horribly named.
Yes. However, all of them except for maybe 2 of them are just fully fledged Kingdom Hearts games.
Yes. Horrible names, though.
Like, yeah. But they make sense in their context.
Only if you know Kingdom Hearts.
So only when you play the game you bought.
Bad names.
When you play the game, they explain it in the game.
358 divided by 2.
It's like Horizon Zero Dawn. Terrible name, honestly, at the end of the day. But at the end of that game, you kind of get it.
Better than 358 on 2 days or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that one's a little weird, but I can explain that one, but I'm not going to. It's also, I love that game, mostly because it introduces my second favorite character, Xion. I love Xion. But yeah, you got to play them all. Start with 1 and go in release order. And the reason why I say this is think about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel Cinematic Universe, you could just watch the Avengers movies. You lose an unbelievable amount of context if you do that. Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3 are the Avengers movies. The other ones, like, completely support that story. It gives you so much context to everything.
Plus, they're good games. Like Chains of Memory
very good.
I love the card / action.
Yeah, and I bet you that you have only played it on the Game Boy Advance.
That's correct.
In Japan, and for very limited release in the United States, they remastered that game, one of the very first remasters of all time, and just made the whole thing look like Kingdom Hearts 1. And it is great. So yeah, and I mean, that game's all about the origins of Organization 13 and how all of that works, and it has an awesome villain that fights with flower petals and a giant scythe. So yeah. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is on PC. I will probably stream it.
Nice.
At some point in my life, when I can afford $230 of a video game.
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do, Epic has sales all the time, and they give those $10 coupons out. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to wait for that sale because that $10 coupon is infinite.
Yeah.
I'm just going to use it for the whole thing, save like $50-$60. So yeah. Also, if you like Theatrhythm, the Final Fantasy rhythm game, Melody of Memory just came out, and it's that but Kingdom Hearts, and it's the Kingdom Hearts music is great, and also that game is great. Also, kind of gives a really good summary of the entire thing, oddly enough, from Kyrie's perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking
also
of
a new story in there.
Speaking of sales, it's time for segment. Get you free shit.
Yeah. So the first one is Ratchet and Clank. Sony is actually giving away that game for free, and not if you have PlayStation Plus. Just do you have a Sony console? It's free.
Get it.
That's cool.
It's free.
It's free. They're using it to promote Rift Apart, which comes out in July, I think. Maybe June. Summer. I love Ratchet and Clank. Those games are so much fun. And what's cool is the Ratchet and Clank they're giving away is the one they just dubbed Ratchet and Clank, and that's it. It is a remake of the original game, and it is told from the perspective of Captain Quark. And it is very good. It is hilarious, and kind of harkens back to that old school PS2 platformer design. So yeah, play that game. Hi, Kemi. Yeah, I am. Hello.
Hello. Jake's on talking about the Vidya games.
Yeah. Talking about Ratchet and Clank. It's free starting next week.
Other things that are free
Monday.
Over on the Epic Games Store, Rage 2. And
hey, Rage 2 is a great game if you don't have to spend any money on it.
Yep. I mean, let's be real here, Jake. Most games are great if you don't have to spend any money on them.
Not all of them.
Not all. Not all.
A lot of them.
A lot.
Yeah.
Rage 2 and Absolute Drift are free on the Epic Store.
Absolute Drift is like a puzzle game, but you're drifting cars. Kemi, yes, I can. In fact, there's a ton of CIG developers who stream, including my boss.
Jake's just not allowed to talk about Star Citizen.
Nope.
Which is
why
great.
I'm on this show
Because
and
we
not
don't talk about it on
Saturday's
this show. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, that's always been the case from day one.
Chris is a big softie.
It's a cool company. But yeah. Yeah, so all that free stuff is coming. David, do you have anything to yell about? Because I don't.
I honestly don't. It's been a...
Video games are great.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I keep... Actually, you know what? No, I do.
Okay.
I do have something I kind of want... Not yell about, but there's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I remember when I was a kid, my first console was an NES that I bought from my next door neighbor because he was getting an SNES, I think. I don't remember what. I think an SNES. I got myself an NES. That was my first console. And I've been thinking a lot, like, Mac is sort of getting into games. She likes PC games. She's got her own Switch. She likes... I'm just thinking, like, what am I gonna get? Where am I gonna start Lincoln? You know, I've got a completely blank slate. That not now, he's too young still, but in a year and a half, 2 years, what am I gonna do with him? Where am I going to?
I know the answer.
What's the answer?
Pac-Man. Start at the beginning.
Pac-Man's not the beginning. Asteroids is the beginning.
Yeah, you could. Pac-Man was my first video game. And a lot of critics I follow that have had children have chosen to start their kid there. Because it's timeless. And two, it gives you a lot of the skills that you need for a lot of other video games all at once.
Tetris 2.
Yeah, so I would say actually those three: Pac-Man, Tetris, and you can even start. You don't even have to. The best part about Tetris is you can pick literally any of them and it'll be fine. Tetris Effect, top tier game. Game Pass.
Yep.
Game Pass.
No,
the music in that game is so good.
I've been thinking a lot because, like, I've got 3 gaming PCs in a row, one for each of us. I'm gonna need a 4th. Yeah, I'm.
Yeah, man.
But I'm the other thing that I'm thinking about a lot is, like, I'm still not old. I'm middle aged. I'm like,
you're not middle aged yet.
I'm gonna be turning 35 in 2 months.
You'll be middle-aged in 5 years.
I'm approaching middle-aged.
Okay.
And it has been a hell of a ride.
Yeah.
Like starting with the NES, and look where we are now. I'm just imagining like Link is gonna start with like PS5, Switch. Where's he gonna get to? Like I've just been like what is coming in the next? We've seen what the last 30 years have done to video games.
Yeah.
What's the next 30 years?
Honestly, I don't know the answer to that.
No one does.
Mostly because, well, and I could have, like, if you were to ask me 10 years ago, I would have had an answer.
Yep.
Now, I don't, because for the first time in a very long time, the lowest common denominator has risen dramatically. Every new console has a powerful GPU, the capability to have ray tracing and variable refresh rate, but most importantly, is everyone has a solid state drive, which means that developers do not have to design around loading times ever.
Yep.
There's a lot of ways that developers cheat, and they'll say, hey, there's no loading screens, and that might be true, but have you ever played a game where your character crawls through a very tight space and they like kind of slide through like this? That's a load screen.
Or fast travel. Most games like that say no loading screens, when you fast travel, it has to load.
Yep.
Until you get to something, and I am absolutely astounded by their tech. Genshin Impact. You can be standing. There are tons of videos of it. Like you standing somewhere the entire map away, shoot an arrow, teleport to the place where you shot the arrow to, and watch. You teleport instantly, and you watch the arrow arrive. Like,
do you know why? Their lowest common denominator is also an SSD. The two platforms they started on was a PC
and phones.
And a phone.
Yep.
Both use flash memory. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's what's really exciting. Like, I think the next 10 years of video games are going to be really crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
We're going to see games like we've never seen before.
Yep.
Like the shift, I think we're going to see a shift like when games moved to 3D.
Yep.
I think we're going to see there's something drastic that's going to happen.
Do you know how amazing it's going to be to live through 2, maybe even 3 of those shifts?
Yeah. It's going to be cool.
It's going to be really cool. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited for what's coming.
At some point, and hopefully they stayed open. I'm actually going to look right now so I don't say this without them being closed. Frisco. What's going on over there? Oh, they are open. Awesome. Okay. In Frisco, Texas, which is where I currently live, there is a video game museum that was curated by people who work at Gearbox and id, which are both based here in Dallas. Look, Gearbox is literally like 5 minutes away from me. And they take you through every major event in video game history, all the way up until basically the 360 era. Because when they originally built the museum, the PS4 and Xbox One had just come out.
I believe that display actually, or one exactly like it, went on tour, and it went to Montreal, and I traveled up with Cass and Mac to see it.
Yeah.
Specific because
It might have been them. It might have been them.
I think it must have been.
But it's an awesome experience because man, like, do you want to just sit at a table and play a Commodore 64 game?
Yeah,
you can do that. They have a fully working arcade where everything is a quarter, and it's great. And they give you 4 quarters as part of your ticket price, but you can also buy more.
Yeah.
Per person. So yeah.
No, I think we should all. I think that a lot gets lost in the conversation around video games. People get angry. People get annoyed or frustrated or way too invested sometimes. And I think that it's really important for us, honestly, to take a step back and just think like how lucky we are that we live in an era of video games. Like this is the pinnacle of entertainment as we as humans have imagined it.
And what people don't really understand about video games, and I mean, a lot of people who play video games, like our audience, understand this, but maybe don't think about it that often, is that video games are every art medium combined using science.
It's as rock star as you can possibly be.
Yes, it is a book. It is animation. It is acting. It is music. It is an art. Interactive experience.
It's art. It's painted art.
Painting. It's everything, all working together through computer science. and I forget what developer said this. He worked on the Old Republic, the MMO. He said, all video games are a miracle. If a video game comes out, it is a miracle. AAA video games are 3 or 4 miracles held together with duct tape. And that just hit me to my very soul.
It's and you think about spectacular band albums, right? Like music, and you think about like I was watching something recently about Green Day and American Idiot, and like if American Idiot didn't take off, Green Day would have probably been done as a band, right? Like
and man,
that album,
American Idiot, is a perfect album.
it is, but that was what, 3-4 people coming together.
Yeah, 4.
It's
the 3 of them plus the producer.
Yeah, 4 people coming together for that.
Wild.
Oh well, technically 5 because Green Day are 4. Anyway, they've got their 4th guitarist who's now officially part of Green. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I know. I love. Finally, he's been with them for literally ever. That's 4 people coming together to create this. A video game is as few as 1, as many as 1,000, all coming together to make every single. It is. Video games are absolutely monumental undertakings, and
let me tell you what. Now that I work in the video game industry, it is 100% a miracle. It is a miracle. I have always had an undying respect for game developers. I will always take the side of the developer, not the publisher. Let me clarify. People have often accused me of taking the side of the publisher. I do not. I take the side of the people who make the game because it is theirs. That respect only multiplied like tenfold once I've seen how the sausage is made. and it is so cool. It is so cool. And Kemi, I don't think I want to make games, and I think I'm in the right position in this company where I get to do the thing that I've done for the last 5+ years, in that I get to talk to people writ large about a video game, because I want people to know how much of a miracle it is and why it's so cool. And if I can do that, I will be fulfilled. And whether that's here at CIG forever, whether I move on at some point, I don't plan on moving on. Don't worry. But wherever I land, I want that to be what I do with my life, because it is the greatest art medium of all time, and it is just, it's a miracle. And it's so cool. Yeah, video games are great.
I really, really want.
That's why we're all here. Yeah,
but I think I've chosen.
You chose a very excellent alternative, and it has paid dividends for you, sir. Especially the last 2 weeks, which we will not get into on this show.
Yeah, I think I've made the right choice, and hopefully my work will let people play video games for longer.
Kemi, you're 100% correct, and I am going to make it my job so people do understand.
Yep,
that's my job.
And that's why we're here. That's why we do this, because we love video games and we want to be excited about them, and we want you to be excited about them. Even if a game comes out and is objectively bad, we can say, hey, you know what? This game was bad.
They tried, man.
They tried but we can say it's a bad game without saying anything negative about the developers.
Nope.
Because
just didn't happen.
It didn't happen. And you should never, maybe blame publishers sometimes, but never ever blame the developers themselves. Yep. They're just doing their jobs.
Just doing their job.
Yep.
And that's our show.
Yeah, that is our show. Thank you all so much for hanging out and listening and watching. Come back Saturday when the other...
You'll have stuff to talk about.
When we're going to talk some Star Citizen. And then come back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, for more of this.
I find it weird because typically at the end of this show, we're like, hey, what's going on this week? What are you doing? I mean... Got a roadmap update for Star Citizen coming out tomorrow, so
that's pretty cool.
You can look at that. No, by all means, Elwood, you can say it's going. The only reason why I haven't cut it yet is because I'm going to donate it,
which is a really important thing to do. And thank you for doing it. As someone who's lived through family members with cancer.
I'm going to do Wigs for Kids.
Yep.
Is the one I've chosen.
You are going to give someone some very flowing locks. Yep.
I'm going to do... it's going to be right before I move. So you'll see me with a bald head around May, June-ish. So
just in time for summer. All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Follow the channel. The VOD will be up here, but you can also catch it on YouTube, where we've also streamed it. By the way, if you're watching this show on YouTube, thank you so much. And if you're here on Twitch, go ahead and hit follow, subscribe if you want a picture of David's face to put in other people's chats. And we'll see you next week, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Same with on Saturday. By the way, if in case you have missed it the last few weeks, the Relays Star Citizen podcast is now on Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So new time, same show.
Minus Jake.
That I can't be on.
Yet.
But that's okay.
Yet.
Yeah.
Someday.
But it'll be like a one-off. It'll be like I'm not gonna come back every week, David.
No, but you're coming back. One day you're coming back, and we're having a Jake extravaganza.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
A Jake extravaganza.
I'm back on this show. Kemi.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear me talk about video games, this is the place.
Because we all love us some video games.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Bye, all.
Come back next week. See you later. Come in Discord. I'm still hanging out in Discord, so